This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good day, I'm Elena Rusk. Another threat that shut down a local school temporarily this morning. 17's Chris Burton joining us now in studio with more on what happened today, Chris.
Yeah, well, Elena, Bakersfield High School was placed on a lockout this morning after an anonymous phone call reported a threat. Now, that happened around 9 a.m. and the lockout was lifted by 10 after law enforcement found that the threat wasn't credible, and normal school activity has since resumed. But it follows a pattern of recent threats at Southern California schools. Yesterday, Bakersfield Police and Kern High School District Police investigated after the school received a report about Centennial High School received a report about an active shooter on campus. That report also turned out to be unfounded. Police are now investigating the source of that call. And further down south, law enforcement evacuated Lancaster High School yesterday to investigate a report of a person on campus with a gun. You can see in this video, the LA County Sheriff's Department put the school on lockdown, but officials say they found no evidence of an active shooter. And it's been a busy week for law enforcement investigating these threats. Lockdowns were also ordered due to false reports at Bishop Diego High School in Santa Barbara, Mater Dei High School in Chula Vista, and Bullard High School in Fresno. In studio, Chris Burton, 17 News.
4 people, including a toddler, recovering after a suspected drunk driver crashed into their home in the middle of the night. It happened about 12:30 yesterday morning. The California Highway Patrol saying a Bakersfield woman crashed into the home at Old River Road and Taft Highway, and then her car burst into flames. 25-year-old Prince Deep Joshan, his wife, his father, and his 22-month-old son were inside the home when that crash caused the ceiling to cave in on top of them. According to his aunt, the toddler, Rowan Deep Joshan, suffered a fractured skull, a broken arm, and other internal injuries. Prince Deep also suffering a fractured hip. He says his 61-year-old father got everyone out of the home but had to be treated for smoke inhalation.
It shouldn't be like this. People shouldn't have to face what I'm facing. I'm here in the hospital with a 22-month-old baby who's he's broken. He's broken. Nobody should ever have to see a child, whether it's their child or someone else's child, go through this.
Now, the family says this isn't the first time a vehicle has crashed into their home. They want the city to install a traffic light on Taft Highway and Old River Road to prevent other accidents like this. The driver, 26-year-old Madison Williams, was booked into jail on felony DUI charges and is due in court tomorrow. Last night, friends and family gathered outside Kyle Lundy's apartment on Half Moon Drive for a candlelight vigil. Bakersfield police say Lundy was shot and killed by a neighbor while allegedly trying to force his way into an apartment in southwest Bakersfield. Friends say they believe Lundy may have been suffering an epileptic episode when he was shot. Bakersfield police say the shooter is cooperating with the investigation and has not been arrested. Election day now 53 days away. A series of community education workshops are continuing as county officials engage the public on a proposed 1-cent sales tax increase. It will appear as Measure K on your November election ballot if you live in unincorporated Kern. The local controlled tax measure is one way to offset revenue losses to the county as property taxes from the oil and gas industry continue to decline. Officials say this tax increase will help maintain and improve vital public safety related services like emergency response, crime prevention, and homelessness. So happening tonight, a workshop will be held at the Lost Hills Community Center from 6 to 8, so you can come and ask questions and learn more. There are 3 more workshops next week: Stallion Springs on Monday, Old Stockdale on Tuesday, and Fraser Park on Wednesday. The number of coronavirus deaths last week was the lowest reported number in the pandemic since March 2020, marking what could be a turning point in the years-long global outbreak. At a press briefing yesterday, the WHO Director General said the world had never been in a better position to stop COVID-19. In the weekly report on the pandemic, the UN Health Agency said deaths fell by 22% in the past week at just over 11,000 reported worldwide. Still, the WHO warned that relaxed testing and surveillance means that many cases are going unnoticed.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Making news around the state, Governor Gavin Newsom says help is on the way for Californians experiencing homelessness and severe mental illness. He signed legislation yesterday legalizing care courts statewide, which allows judges to order treatment for those who need it. Newsom says by December 2024, all 58 counties in California must establish courts in charge of ordering treatment. Many homeless advocates approve of these courts, but there are concerns questioning if California will provide counties with ongoing funding in the future. Still, supporters say court-ordered treatment will make a huge difference. 7 counties will take part in a pilot program to have care courts up and running by next year, 2023. Now to news from around the nation. Amtrak says it's working to restore canceled trains now that a tentative railway union deal is in place that avoids a strike. At the White House today, President Joe Biden praising both unions and the rail companies for averting a shutdown that could have badly hurt the economy and American families. A strike would have disrupted passenger traffic as well as freight rail lines because Amtrak and many commuter railroads operate on tracks owned by the freight railroads. Under the labor deal, rail workers will receive 24% raises and $5,000 in bonuses. Biden said the deal will help keep the critical rail system working, and commuters were relieved to hear the news.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. We really need them on the track in order for us to keep going, because if they had shut down, the economic, impact from it would have been horrendous. So I'm glad they got to reach a settlement.
Now, the railroads also agreed to ease strict attendance policies to address some union concerns about working conditions. And now to the state's wildfires as flames continue to rage in Placer and El Dorado counties. The effort to contain the Mosquito Fire is growing more intense. As of this morning, the fire has grown to more than 64,000 acres in size. Containment is now at 20%, sadly down from the 25% reported earlier this week. More than 6 buildings have been destroyed by the fire as more than 3,600 firefighters are working to get a handle on it. And happening tomorrow, Friday, September 16th, Americans across the nation will observe National POW MIA Recognition Day. This is a day to pay special recognition to the service and sacrifice of U.S. military veterans who are prisoners of war or listed as missing in action. Kern County's Portrait of a Warrior Gallery will be holding a special event at 9 a.m. tomorrow, honoring all of those who are missing in action and reading the names of the 124 Kern County service members who are still missing. I Street will be closed between 20th Street to the north and the alley to the south from 7 to 10:30 a.m. for that event.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.